everybody, my name's Miranda and welcome to Book Talk. Last night I just finished reading Silver Shadows by Richelle Mead, which is the fifth and penultimate book in the Bloodline series, and oh my good golly gracious, I have a lot to say about this book. But instead of doing a regular book talk where I babble and blab all my good stuff at you, I thought I'd try something a little different and instead give you my top 5 moments from Silver Shadows. So obviously, if you haven't read the book and you don't want to be spoiled, there's going to be spoilers. I can't help that when I'm giving you the biggest shocking moments from the book. So if you haven't read the book yet, don't want to be spoiled, just click the watch later button, add this video to your little playlist, and come back after you've read the book and then enjoy it and leave your comments down below. So I will see you after you read the book. Bye for now, non-spoilers. Alright, so coming in at number 5 is Adrian's descent into rock bottom and his ascension upwards after. Now Adrian, I think in the beginning of Silver Shadows was what everyone feared he was going to be after Fiery Heart. He was out of control with his spirit, he was drinking so much, he kind of gave up on life, he wasn't caring about his university classes or his friends, he even kind of gave up on Sydney, just he couldn't get her in the spirit dreams. We saw when he went back to court and started partying with that Nina and they were all like, woo, party, party, party! And Adrian, the more he partied, the more he lost the part of himself that he had become with Sydney, and he just kind of stopped looking for her. But I think it was a really important moment for Adrian because I have never been more proud of my baby Adrian than when he realized that this is not where he needs to be in life. He needs to be strong, he needs to be healthy, he needs to be sober to get Sydney back. He can't just give up on her. He needs to work harder, and he had that whole realization moment where he was kind of rude to Nina and was like, yeah, there's never going to be a future for us. Kind of left Nina crushed like Rose did with him, but he had this whole moment of just greatness, and I have never been more proud of him. Like I said, he did have that downside of his aunt coming back to haunt him or whatever, but he was so in control of his spirit and so calm towards the end when Sydney really needed him to be calm that I was just like, oh Adrian, I need to give you a big hug because I'm so proud of you. I know he should have told Sydney about the hallucinations of his aunt, but that is just going to be another thing to come up in the book, and once he gets that under control, he's going to be square to go. And I'm just so excited to see where his character goes in the final book now that he is such a badass. When Alchemist crossed the room with his spear and all that, I was just like, yeah, you go Adrian. I'm so proud of him. Oh my gosh, I just love it. Number 4 is plain and simple for me, and it's just Eddie Castiel. Castiel, I don't know how you say his last name, but he is a badass. That's my point. And Eddie, for me, I've always felt kind of bad for him. I've liked him, but he just gets crapped on repeatedly in these books, and I've always felt bad, but I've just been like, oh, Eddie, and just like giving him a little pat on the head and then pushed him aside for the Sydney and Adrian romance. But in this book, I really came to love Eddie. Like Adrian, Sydney's disappearance was weighing heavily on him because he blamed himself. Sydney tricked him and got captured for it, and now he kind of feels like he should have done more. Everyone else is like, you've just had a series of bad luck. People who have run away from you, and there was really nothing you could do about it because they out-tricked you. And he's like, no, I'm a bad guardian. I need to take care of these people. This was my chance to redeem myself, and I've given up again. And I'm just like, Eddie, Eddie. So when they go to get Sydney, am I saying her name right? Sydney. Why can't I say Sydney today? When they go to get Sydney at re-education, he wants to go but is reluctant to leave Jill because she is his assignment, and Jill of course is like, go, I trust no one more than you to guard me, but you need to do this because I know you're so guilty about Sydney being taken even though you really had nothing to do with it, and this is what you need to do to get that guilt gone. So Jill sends him off on his merry way, and then he comes in like a freaking badass and is just like, yo guys, I got this, let's go. The line where I freaking fell in love with Eddie is when Sydney was trapped in re-education down below and they were like, yeah, we're just gonna let her burn because, you know, that's moral and humane. Yeah, Alchemist, don't you want to join us? And Adrian's like, I'm going to get the last 4. Anyone coming with me? And then it says, I immediately felt Eddie by my side. Do you even have to ask? I bookmarked that page because I was like, Eddie, you're just such a badass and I love you. You deserve so much happiness, which is what made the ending of this book so much more heartbreaking and traumatic. Basically, Eddie is going to be in the place that Adrian was at the beginning of Silver Shadows when the Ruby Circle comes out, and I just feel so bad for him because he's gonna eat himself alive about what happened, and I just want him to be happy. He's had so much crap and so much drama that really isn't his fault, and he's taken all the blame for it because he's just that kind of guy. And this is gonna be the biggest thing for him, and he's just gonna go My number 3 moment is going to be about Sydney Sage and her wielding her magic like the bamf that she is. This is the 5th book in the Bloodline series, and I just can't believe how far Sydney's character has come. Do we remember the girl in the beginning who thought magic was vile, that anyone that used it was vile? And now look at her. She sets fires. Like, yeah, that's exactly how she does it. She uses all this magic, and it was just so great to see her not even thinking about it. There wasn't a second thought. She was just like, magic, I'm doing it. She missed it. She admitted that she missed the magic when she couldn't use it when she was in re-education. And for me, this was just such a big moment in Sydney's growth because it's her really coming into who she is, and she's seen that she can be this person who uses magic and enjoys it and uses it for good and not give away her soul or be sinned or anything that the alchemist told her she would. One of my hands down favorite moments from Sydney Sage ever will be when she was facing off that bitch Sheridan, and Sheridan had a gun to Adrian's head, and then Sydney just calls up this huge ass fire and is like, yeah, try that again, test me, do it Sheridan, test me. And I was like, oh my gosh. I wanted to immortalize that moment in the Badass Hall of Fame for all of eternity because it was just so freaking awesome. I feel confident that Sydney is going to use her new magic along with Adrian's magic to rule the world and take back what was taken. What? My number 2 moment from Silver Shadow should probably really be the number 1 moment since it was the thing that happened last, but it wasn't the best part of the book for me. So it's going to be Jill's disappearance. Dun dun dun. Yes folks, call Dateline, the princess is missing. I have to admit, I was shocked. They were like, Jill's missing. I was like, because this is not good. And Rose laid it clear out and simple that Lissa is going to lose her throne if anyone's like, hey, where's Jill? Because they'll be like, about that. I feel like it's not a big problem because like the alchemist like 4 pages before were like, you're gonna regret having us as an enemy, and they know about Jill, where she's hiding and everything, and then Jill disappears. So it's not hard for me to connect X to Y, but then if you read the summary of the Ruby Circle, which is the next book, it says that they have to confront a former nemesis. So this makes me think that it's either going to be the alchemist, possibly, even though they're not really a former nemesis, or it could be that bitch witch from the Indigo spell who everyone thought she died, but they never saw the body, so she could come back and be like, surprise bitches, I'm back, or I would not be surprised if it was Nina, even though we saw Nina at court. So I don't know how she would have like taken Jill, but the thing that stuck out to me was that Angeline, or Angelique, whatever how you say her name, was in the room when Jill was taken. And that had me thinking that maybe Jill was compelled to leave. But there's only one person who could compel, and that's Nina, right? So that would make sense if Nina was there and took Jill. It's a witch. If it was Veronica, the witch could use compulsion too, right? Please tell me I'm right. Someone? Dun 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 dun. Time for my number 1 moment, and that is going to be the Sidrian wedding. Woo! Yeah, my babies got married. Woo! I really didn't think the reasons behind them getting married were that romantic, but still, come on, they got married, and it was just so adorable. Let me relive the moment for all y'all right now. He hesitated a moment and gave a decisive nod. Then, to my complete and utter astonishment, he got down on his knees before me and clasped my hand in his. Sydney Catherine Sage, he said, his green eyes full of love and earnestness, would you do a brooding deadbeat Moreau the honor of being his wife? And her response is, of course, but then, of course, the best moment came when they were at court, and Ian and Sydney's father and Zoe were all confronting them, being like, this is an abomination, you're a disgrace, we're gonna throw your ass back in re-education, Lissa, just hand her over to us, we got this, okay? And Ian, that little douchewad, who's now apparently likes Zoe, which I'm like, okay, that's gross, but that's a thing. And he goes, this isn't a decision you get to make, he said incredulously. Sydney Sage's fate isn't in your hands. You have no right to. Ivashkov interrupted Sydney. It was the first time she'd spoken since we entered the room. Ian turned his outraged expression from throne to her. I beg your pardon? Ivashkov, she repeated, her face the picture of serenity. My name is Sydney Ivashkov now, Ian. Just like, you go girl. Even though that is going to be the most difficult name in the world to remember. I can't even pronounce it right. I said Ivashkov, but I pronounce it Ivankovich in my head for some reason. That really is going to be one of the toughest names because, ooh, that's a mouthful. Ugh. Imagine trying to make dinner reservations. I'd like to make a reservation for 2, please. No problem, ma'am. What's the name? Ivanchkov? Bless you. Now, what's the name? Ivanchkov? I'm sorry? Ivanchkov. Excuse me? Ivanchkov. I'm sorry, ma'am. I think we have a bad connection. Oh, just forget it. Hello? Allergy season. Alright, so those are my top 5 moments from Silver Shadows. I was absolutely in love with it. It wasn't my favorite book in the series, but it just went in a completely unexpected way than I thought. I really thought we were going to have Sydney turn against Adrian, kind of get compelled and re-educated to believe that he was a monster, or at least have her play along with thinking he was a monster, but she kept who she was the entire time. I think that was really important in the grand scheme of things, even though I would have liked to see her kind of go a little crazy. I think it would have been interesting just to see her turn on Adrian, even if she was faking it. I'm excited to see where it goes with the last book and Jill missing. I don't know how this is all going to wrap up, but I really hope that at least Jill and Eddie get a happily ever after, because we saw Sydney and Adrian's happily ever after kind of right now, even though there's one more book, so who knows what's going to happen. As long as it isn't like a Legion, I'll be fine. What if Eddie, oh my gosh, what if Eddie sacrifices himself for Jill? Oh my god, I will cry my freaking eyeballs out. I'm ready to cry right now just thinking about it. Overall, I would give the book 5 out of 5 stars. Not my favorite in the series, but just so great. So if you've read the book, tell me what you thought down below. Leave all your predictions for the Ruby Circle and what it might mean. Thank you all for watching. I'm Miranda, and I've already started a countdown on my phone for the next book coming out, and we're only 5 months away, so we have time. Alright, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!